And rising inflation is a global phenomenon, and the pinch of the inflationary surge has not been felt by people in emerging markets and developing companies alone, but even those who live in high-income economies are feeling the squeeze this time. Inflation is dominating headlines in every corner of the globe. Now, from the Americas to Europe to Asia and Africa, prices of essential commodities, they continue to rise across the world. The increasing costs, it's causing people to hit the streets in protest. Central banks are trying to curb price rise by raising interest rates. But economic outlook, it is grim. These are some inflation figures for month of August from around the world. In April, IMF had predicted average global inflation level this year would be 7.4%. They have not provided an updated outlook so far, but recently, Chief of IMF made a somber speech explaining why this is happening.
First, COVID, then Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and climate disasters on all continents. These shocks have caused immense harm on people's lives. Their combined impact is driving a global surge in prices, especially on food and energy, causing a cost of living crisis.
The last week has seen OPEC Plus agree to cut in oil production. It will add a greater burden to people by raising costs of fuel. US stock markets, they fell on Friday due to better than expected job data. It is because investors expect US Federal Reserve to increase interest rates again in light of jobs report. It is not just the Fed. Bank of England, Reserve Bank of India, everyone's hiking rates to try and tame inflation. The logic is that if it is more expensive to borrow money, demand and therefore prices will go down. But this is a gradual solution. People are worried about how they will maintain their way of life. They have been hitting the streets now. British Prime Minister has been seeing record low approval ratings because of her handling of economy. On Saturday, Berlin saw protests against inflation and perceived government inaction. Thousands took to streets of Prague on Saturday as well. They too protested against price rises.
In the history of the Czech Republic, since 1993, we have the record inflation. And we can see it in the shops, buying the food and everything. But also, we can see it today in the energy. That today we receive bills for the energy, which are not just double or triple more than before, but it's much more. And it affects a lot of people, the majority of the people.
In France, oil refinery workers have gone on strike as well. They are demanding higher wages to fight rise in costs. The strike caused fuel shortages around the world. Long lines were seen in petrol pumps around Paris on Saturday. As people queued for hours to fill their tanks, this happened. Inflation is expected to rise and economic growth is not expected to keep pace. The IMF has slashed global growth forecast for the next year from 3.2% to 2.9% it is. If growth rates stay below inflation, it means in real terms, the world grows poorer. The sum of money that could buy you a meal today may not suffice tomorrow. IMF chief painted a bleak picture. Let's listen to her again.
Overall, we expect global output as a result of all this to shrink between now and 2026 by $4 trillion. To give you a sense what is $4 trillion, this is the size of the German economy. Gone. And unfortunately, I am the natural optimist, but today I stand in front of you and I need to say, more likely to get worse than to get better.
WION now available in your country. Download the app and get all the news on the move.